It's 2025, and somehow one of hip-hop's most explosive rivalries has roared back to life, louder, darker, and messier than ever before. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, two women who completely reshaped modern rap, are once again at the center of a social media firestorm that has taken over the internet. What started as a simple album release turned into one of the most chaotic public meltdowns in years, reigniting a feud that the world thought was finally over. Old wounds from their 2018 Harper's Bazaar clash have reopened, and this time, things have gone beyond music and pride, crossing into family, trauma, and territory no one expected to see again. Their Twitter battle wasn't just petty shade or playful trolling. It was personal, painful, and raw, leaving fans stunned as both icons threw punches that cut far too deep. And the craziest part? It all began with one tweet. A sarcastic $4.99 from Nicki that mocked the price of Cardi's new album, Am I the Drama? Within hours, the internet erupted into chaos. As Cardi fired back, Nicki doubled down, and what followed was a week-long war that blurred the line between celebrity drama and complete public breakdown. Tweets were deleted, kids were mentioned, and accusations got uglier by the hour. By the end, both women had done something no one saw coming, posting emotional open letters addressed to each other's children. What could drive two of the most successful women in hip-hop to such extremes? Today, we're breaking down exactly how this all spiraled out of control, the real reasons behind their rage, and what this feud says about the price of fame, ego, and survival in the music industry. But first, let's rewind to how this all reignited. When Cardi B announced her new album, Am I the Drama, it was supposed to be a celebration, a full-circle moment for one of hip-hop's boldest voices. The title itself was a tongue-in-cheek reference to her public image, loud, unfiltered, and always in the headlines. Fans praised her confidence and clever branding, and the rollout seemed smooth, until one tweet from Nicki Minaj changed everything. With just 3 characters, $4.99, Nicki managed to ignite a firestorm across social media. The tweet was short, subtle, and cutting, mocking the iTunes sale price of Cardi's album, but its timing and tone made it clear. This wasn't just shade, it was a shot. Cardi wasted no time clapping back, telling Nicki that instead of competing with her, she should be comparing herself to global icons like Drake, Taylor Swift, Beyoncé, and Rihanna, artists in her own league. It was a confident, calculated response, but one that sent shockwaves through the fandoms. Within minutes, the tweet went viral. Fans dissected every word, dragging both rappers into endless Twitter threads and turning what could have been a petty moment into a full-blown cultural event. It wasn't just the Barbs versus the Barty gang anymore. It was the internet versus itself, with millions of people choosing sides and fueling the flames in real time. And just like that, the uneasy peace between the two collapsed overnight. Within hours, both artists were firing off tweets, posting cryptic stories, and liking shady comments that hinted at years of resentment bubbling beneath the surface. The drama wasn't confined to the music industry anymore. It became entertainment in its own right. Fans began digging up old clips, revisiting the 2018 Harper's Bazaar fight, and pointing out every lyric or interview that hinted at lingering tension. What began as a $4.99 tweet had now become the spark for one of the most personal and public rivalries in rap to explode all over again. And as the insults escalated, it was clear. This wasn't about charts or clout anymore. This was about pride, ego, and wounds that never really healed. And when it got personal, everything started unraveling fast. What started as harmless shade turned into something far more sinister. The lighthearted banter that once fueled excitement in the rap community suddenly took a dark turn, and this time, the consequences felt real. Within days of Nicki's $4.99 tweet, the feud spiraled beyond music, lyrics, or competition. Nicki Minaj made the first move that shifted everything. She referenced Cardi B's daughter, Culture. For fans, that crossed a line no one thought either woman would touch again, especially after their infamous 2018 clash. But instead of backing down or brushing it off, Cardi snapped, and her retaliation was just as brutal. She brought up Nicki's son, Papa Bear, and accused Nicki of being a neglectful mother, mocking her for being online instead of celebrating his birthday. From that moment, the the feud stopped being about sales or success. It became personal warfare. Both rappers began throwing accusations that hit at each other's deepest insecurities, from motherhood to mental health to substance rumors. Cardi claimed Nicki's behavior was proof she was unstable and spiraling, while Nicki clapped back with words that many fans described as cruel and racially charged. It was no longer two artists defending their music. It was two mothers weaponizing the most vulnerable parts of their lives for the world to see. The internet couldn't look away, not because it was entertaining, but because it was horrifying. Every tweet felt like watching two careers slowly unravel in real time. Fans who once celebrated their strength as women in rap were now begging them to stop. Comment sections were flooded with messages like, "Leave the kids out of this," and "This isn't hip-hop anymore, it's destruction." The public had seen artists feud before, but never like this. Never with family, trauma, and children dragged into the crossfire. For years, people blamed the industry for pitting women against each other, but this time, there was no label, no PR manipulation. Just two women tearing each other apart, tweet by tweet. And as the insults got darker, one question became impossible to ignore. If they were willing to cross this line, how much further would they go? And then Cardi took it even further, challenging Nicki to settle it in person. Cardi wasn't holding back. In tweet after tweet, she told Nicki to drop the addy. Translation: send the address and let's handle it face to face. It was déjà vu from 2018's Harper's Bazaar Icons party, when the two physically clashed at New York Fashion Week, the moment that left Cardi walking out with that infamous bump on her forehead. Now, years later, fans feared history might repeat itself. Cardi accused Nicki of neglecting her son on his birthday, of being obsessed, even of using substances. She said, "You haven't even cut your kid's cake. It's 6 o'clock in LA, and you already took your first line of the day." The back and forth spiraled for days. Tweets were posted, deleted, reposted, and dissected by millions. Screenshots flooded TikTok and Reddit. Every hour, a new layer of chaos unfolded. This wasn't just a feud anymore. It was public self-destruction in real time. But what triggered Nicki to go from silent to scorched earth? The answer may lie in one powerful name: Jay-Z. In the middle of the chaos, fans noticed something strange. Cardi revealed that Jay-Z had personally cleared a sample for her new album, a huge moment of industry validation. Nicki, who's had a long-running feud with Roc Nation, suddenly began posting photos of Jay-Z and Cardi. The timing was suspicious. People started connecting dots. Could Nicki have felt slighted that Cardi, the artist she often dismissed as new money, had gotten personal approval from one of rap's biggest icons? It's no secret that Nicki's relationship with the industry has been complicated. She's accused Roc Nation of blackballing her, criticized its artists, and even hinted that certain executives tried to sabotage her career. So when Cardi proudly thanked Jay-Z, it might have struck a nerve. A nerve tied to years of resentment, power struggles, and feeling like the industry she helped build was now moving on without her. And from that point on, things went from toxic to downright cruel. By the time this feud reached its boiling point, it had completely lost any connection to music or artistry. The insults were no longer clever or entertaining. They were vicious, deeply personal, and meant to destroy. Cardi B accused Nicki Minaj of being a possessed addict, mocked her parenting, and even made disturbing comments about her son's development. Nicki retaliated by calling Cardi's children racial slurs and inventing cruel nicknames that stunned everyone who saw them. It wasn't playful rivalry anymore, it was hate on display. For many fans, this was the moment the feud stopped being gossip and started feeling like something darker, two icons unraveling in front of millions. The backlash was immediate and massive. Hashtags like "SAR Protect the Kids" and "Enough is Enough" began trending within hours, as fans, journalists, and even fellow celebrities spoke out. People were horrified that two of hip-hop's most influential women were publicly tearing into each other's families. Commentators called it one of the ugliest moments in rap history. Even longtime supporters of both women admitted that the situation had gone too far. Social media was flooded with screen recordings, receipts, and voiceovers breaking down every tweet, and the deleted posts only made things worse. Every time they tried to erase something, it was reposted within minutes, immortalized as proof of just how toxic things had become. But instead of backing down, both women dug their heels in deeper. Cardi kept firing off replies, demanding that Nicki drop the addy to settle things face to face, while Nicki played the victim online, framing Cardi as unstable and obsessed. Their fans split into digital war zones, attacking each other in endless comment threads. It was no longer about who was right or wrong. It was about who could outshock the other. The internet fed on it, turning every insult into content, every meltdown into a meme. What the world was witnessing wasn't just a feud between two artists. It was a reflection of how far social media has blurred the line between entertainment and emotional destruction. In the race for attention, both women had crossed a line that there was no coming back from. But then, in the strangest twist yet, they each decided to write open letters to each other's children. Just when fans thought the feud had already reached rock bottom, Nicki Minaj did something that stunned even her most loyal supporters. Out of nowhere, she posted an open letter titled, "Dear Culture," addressing Cardi B's young daughter directly. In it, Nicki claimed that everything she'd said and done was for a bigger purpose, calling Culture a cute child who would one day understand the truth. It was part apology, part justification, but it didn't read like a moment of growth. To many, it felt eerie, self-righteous, and deeply unsettling. The tone wasn't one of remorse. It was almost prophetic, as if Nicki was framing herself as a misunderstood martyr in a story that had spiraled far beyond music. Within minutes, the post was everywhere, reposted, dissected, and condemned across Twitter, TikTok, and celebrity blogs. Even some fans who had defended her up to that point began to question whether this had gone too far. Cardi B's response came just hours later, and it was even more shocking. She fired back with a letter of her own. "Dear Papa Perk." What began as a seemingly genuine apology quickly shifted into another attack. Cardi accused Nicki of neglecting her son, mocked her alleged substance use, and even suggested that he would need therapy to overcome the blood he inherited. It was a brutal response, mixing sympathy with cruelty, and it left fans speechless. The letters weren't diss tracks, interviews, or lyrical shade. They were emotional weapons, written like open diaries but meant to humiliate. Many wondered how two of the most successful women in rap had gone from chart-topping hits to publicly addressing each other's children in front of millions. What once felt like rivalry now looked like obsession. The internet was completely divided. Some people called it performance art, a twisted commentary on fame and motherhood in hip-hop. Others said it was proof that both artists had lost control of their public personas entirely. Even major media outlets picked it up, framing it as one of the darkest moments in modern celebrity culture. After the letters went viral, both women went silent. No more tweets, no more rants, no more jabs. It was as if they both realized the gravity of what they had done. Fans held their breath, wondering if this would finally be the breaking point, the moment where both sides walked away for good. But for Nicki Minaj, the silence didn't mean surrender. Because just when it seemed like the feud was over, she came back with one more move that reignited everything all over again. And her next post would shift the narrative yet again. Within days, Nicki Minaj pivoted, suddenly posting about her sold-out tour, new music charts, and Taylor Swift's latest album. It was as if she wanted to erase the chaos and remind the world she was still the queen of rap. Cardi, meanwhile, tried to redirect attention back to Am I the Drama? But even she admitted it had been one hell of a week. Industry peers stayed silent. No one wanted to get dragged into the crossfire. Even artists who'd collaborated with both women stayed out of it. But fans weren't letting it go. The feud dominated X, TikTok, and YouTube commentary channels. Every new post, every like, every deleted tweet became a clue in a real-time soap opera. And through it all, one thing became clear. Social media doesn't just document drama anymore. It multiplies it. It rewards chaos and punishes silence. But beneath the noise, a deeper question started to form. One about fame, legacy, and what this feud really means. Stepping back from the chaos, This story isn't just about two rappers trading insults. It's about how fame magnifies pain and how the internet feeds off it. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B are two of the most influential women in hip-hop history. They opened doors, shattered records, and built empires. Yet somehow, they're still trapped in the same cycle of competition and comparison. Every feud brings clicks. Every insult trends. The industry profits off their conflict while their reputations take the hit. It's the dark side of celebrity, where being viral matters more than being respected. Maybe neither of them will ever truly win this battle. Because at the end of the day, the feud says less about who's on top, and more about what fame can do to people when the world is always watching. And that brings us to where things stand now. Exhausted fans, two legends, and a feud that refuses to die. So here we are again. Another round in the Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B saga. The insults, the letters, the chaos. It's all proof that some rivalries burn too hot to ever fade. But maybe the real question isn't who won this fight. Maybe it's whether either of them can still step back from the edge before the feud defines their legacies completely. Because at this point, it's not about music anymore. It's about pride, power, and pain played out for millions to see. Who do you think went too far this time? Can these two ever make peace? Or has the damage already been done? Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next upload. And don't forget to drop a like and share your thoughts in the comments. It helps the channel grow and lets me know what stories you want covered next.